Giving all praise and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the elders of GMS. Also salutations to all the Akim out there that's pushing this truth. And also shalom to the rest of the hopeful elect. I'm going to title this, Let Russia Be a God Unto Thee. I have this article. It says Russia is shipping explosives to Iran to bolster its missiles and drone arsenal in the U.S. war. It says Russia is sending explosives, ammunition, and drone components to Iran across the Caspian Sea to rebuild stockpiles damaged by the U.S. Israeli strikes, according to the report from NBC News. Now, we can kind of get an understanding on what the scriptures say. Let me go to it real quick. Let's go to Ezekiel, the 38th chapter. Matter of fact, hold on. Let's get it in a blue letter. All right, let's go. Let's start from 4. It says, I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws. Right. And that's he's doing it through Russia's allies. All right. Like Iran. Okay. Because Russia has deals with Iran and all these different African countries, man. All right. And Russia is not going to just let America destroy their investment. And right now, Iran is doing a very good job at defending against America right now. Now, eventually, Russia just has their foot in the game. All right, they're basically fighting a proxy war through Iran. Even though America and Iran is on the full scale war, Russia is basically fighting a proxy war through Iran, okay? And that's something, Russia did throughout history, even through the Cold War. Matter of fact, I have this right here because I was, just looking up certain things, where is that at? Right, because I was asking, I said, who did Russia fight during the Cold War? It says, during the Cold War, the Soviet Union, the USSR, the state that included Russia, did not directly fight the United States. So, it wasn't meant for that time. Now this is the time, where Russia and America is going to eventually lock horns. All right. It says, and did not fight the United States. Instead, they fought indirect proxy wars. Matter of fact, let's look up that word proxy wars too. Right? It says a proxy war is a fight where big countries support small countries or local governments to battle each other. So basically, Russia put the battery pack in Iran's back, man. Right? It says the big countries do not fight face to face. This helps to avoid a giant direct war. All right. It says the main spoons of sponsors, rich or powerful nations give money, weapons, and training. The local fighters, proxies, local groups, or smaller nations do the actual fighting on the ground. But in this case, Iran is actually a powerful country and has a great military, and with Russia behind it, it makes it even worse, man. All right. It says the goal, gain power or land without risking your own main army. All right. So what, you want to preserve your army. All right. But if you do get crazy, guess what? Then the bigger army, all right, or the wealthiest army, or, whatever, the one with the most money or the better training, all right, they eventually step into that war. Okay. Let's see. Let's go back. It says, and engaged in global political rivalry against capitalist and Western-backed forces. Then it goes into the history, of Russia It says major direct military conflicts: the Soviet Afghan War, 1979 through 1989. Internal Eastern Bloc uprising: the Soviet army directly intervened to crush anti-communist reform movements within its own sphere of influence. Fighting forces in East Germany, 1953, Hungary, 1956, and Czechoslovakia in 1968. Major proxy wars, fighting Western allies indirectly. All right, let's say it's the Korean War. So really, Russia always been kind of beefing with America. All right, the Korean War, 1950 through 1953. The Vietnam War. The Soviet Union passed massive military and economic aid, aircraft weapons, technical advisors to North Vietnam as they fought South Vietnam and the United States. You see? So there you have it right there. What else did I look up on here? I was going through a couple things. Right, and I basically asked the same thing. I said historically, Russia, the Soviet Union before, has been one of the world's largest arms suppliers, right? And that led me to, what made me ask that, because Russia has a ton of damn weapons. Well, guess what? That comes from what? The Cold War, all right? Well, basically, Russia went into building, man, which we're gonna tap into that too, all right? Yes, historically, Russia and the Soviet Union before it has one of the world's largest arms suppliers. Major receipts of Russian weapons include India, China, Kazakhstan, along historical regional partners with Algeria, Vietnam, Iran, and Venezuela. So yeah, Russia is probably mad with that Venezuela thing too. Matter of fact, I think a situation happened that, Russia might have spoke on it with the thing with Venezuela, Then it goes into the Cuba and Latin America war, Asia, the communist and socialist allies, and the Middle East. Hold on, wait a minute. Let me read that over. It says, during the Cold War, the Soviet Union supplied massive amounts of military hardware to spread geopolitical influence and compete with the United States. And this is who they supplied it. So I was reading it wrong. Middle East, Asia, Cuba, and Latin America. Modern era, Russian Federation, India, China, and other key markets, right? So let's go. Yeah, why do Russia have so many weapons? It says Russia has a massive stockpile of weapons due to the Cold War legacy, a doctrine prioritizing large numbers of equipment retention, and a state-directed manufacturing base that continues to churn out military hardware. The Cold War inheritance, the Soviet stockpiles, Russia inherited a vast majority of the baseline military equipment and nuclear warheads from the former Soviet. The arms race during the Cold War, the USSR built numerous quality weapons to match or deter NATO forces, creating massive reserve stockpiles. But also during the Cold War, right? They that's when they built their first nuclear bomb too. All right. Now let's go into this military doctrine of retention. We're gonna get back to that article too. It says never throwing things away, unlike Western nations that often scrap and sell obsolete gear. Soviet and Russian military strategy favored keeping older tanks, artillery systems in open air storage for future use and parts. All right, so they ready, man. That was a poor. Hold on, 1 second. See if I can find it real quick. Thought I had it up here. Let me scan through it. Oh, here we go. Yeah, what did Russia do during the Cold War? Here we go. It says during the Cold War, the Soviet Union, the USSR, led by Russia, as its dominant republic, engaged in global idol, 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 ideological, political, and economic rivalry with the United States and Western allies. It established communist satellites states in Eastern Europe behind the Iron Curtain, competed in a massive nuclear arms race and space race, and fought indirect proxy wars. Now, where is that at? Here we go, right here. Jump down. It says nuclear superpower. It says develop its own nuclear bomb by 1949 and built vast stockpiles of atomic intercontinental ballistic missiles, man. Let's check out something on here. All right, they ain't giving me much. I ain't gonna click, man. I'm gonna click on it. Forget it. See what they got on here real quick. On anything they got on the nuclear bomb. All right, nothing much. So let's go back to that article. Matter of fact, let's go back to the scriptures, right? Now we can understand, right? But it talks about the Lord putting hooks in their jaws and them bringing all these different masses amounts of weapons, you know, and they're able to spare weapons, man. Russia have weapons upon weapons, all right? It says, I will turn thee, put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth all thou army and horses and horsemen, and all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers, shields, all of them handling a sword. You see? And guess what? Where are they getting those swords from? They getting them from where? Russia, Persia, which is Iran, Ethiopia, Libya with them, and all of them with the shield and helmet. So you see? It says, Gomer and all the bands, the house of Tugarmar, the north quarters and all the bands, and many people with thee, right? And look, and it's gonna be a world war, all right? Think countries that's not even written, you know, directly in the scriptures, you know, that prophesied, the scriptures that's prophesied about World War III. It's other countries over there near Russia that's gonna enter into this war too, because they're allies, man, and they're gonna go over there, all right, to the Middle East, okay, and they're gonna fight that war, okay, like it says in Joel, dragging the Northern Army, Joel 2:20, to a land that's bare and desolate, man. They're in that land right now, all right. It says, Be thou prepared, and prepare thyself, thou and all thou company that assemble unto thee, be thou a guard unto them, right? And that's what Russia's doing, man. But it's about what? Supplying those weapons too. Eventually, they're gonna, you know, step out there, and they're gonna lock horns with America, man. Okay. It says Russia is sending explosive ammunition and drone components to Iran across the Caspian Sea. I already read that. It says the previous unreported shipments detailed in a European government document obtained by NBC News and confirmed by Western officials highlight the intensifying military partnership between Moscow and Tehran. At a critical moment, Russia is moving TNT, ammunition, drone parts by sea to help Iran restore its missiles and drone capabilities after significant losses in the ongoing conflict. You know what? And this also proves the so-called white man, even those Russians, those are Edomites, man. You know, because that's Esau's blessing is those weapons, man. You know. They're all about war. All right, the Lord just used Russia to be the hammer of the earth to eventually get hammered. Because like it says, what's that? Her Lord say, I'm gonna turn you into a burnt mountain. And it's gonna be by Russia. Let's go to Jeremiah real quick. All right, it says, behold, I am against thee, O destroying mountain, saith the Lord, and the destroying mountain is America, which destroyeth all the earth, and I will stretch out my hand upon thee and roll thee down from the rocks and make thee a burned mountain. About who? The Russians, man. Let's finish reading. And they shall not take on thee a stone for a corner nor a stone for foundation, but thou shalt be desolate, thus saith the Lord. Set ye up a standard in the land, blow the trumpet among the nations, prepare the nations against her, call together against her the kingdoms of Irat, many, all right, Ashkenaz, now that's Germany, Iran, who else? Let's say the kingdoms of of Iraq. All right. So when you look on that map, all right, when you look up many and Ashkenaz, all right, they're right next to each other, all right, or close, in the same area. Kingdoms of Iraq, many Ashkenaz appointed captain against her, caused the horses to come up as the rough caterpillars. Prepare against her the nations with the kings of the Medes, which is what? Those Russians, man. The captains thereof, and all the rulers thereof, and all the lands of his dominion. And the land shall tremble and sorrow, for every purpose of the Lord shall be performed against Babylon to make the land desolate. To make the land of Babylon a desolation without inhabitants. All right. So let's go back to this article. Finish reading this. It says, highlight the intensifying military partnership. I already read that. Russia is moved. All right, read that too. It says, I'll start from here. By the sea to help Iran restore its missile drone capabilities after significant losses in an ongoing conflict. More than 24 Russian vessels, many already under U.S. and European sanctions linked to the company MG Flot, have carried the cargo to Iranian ports on the Caspian, including Arabad. The enclosed inland sea border of Russia, Iran, Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan, and Turkmenistan offers a protection corridor. Western warships have no legal or practical presence there. So even these countries I just named, I don't even want to pronounce them again, they might join that war too. They might be in World War III too. It says making an interception far more difficult than an open oceans. The deliveries reverse years of one-way traffic. Iran has supplied Russia Shahad-style drones and technology, and Moscow used extensively against Ukraine, later produced domestically. Now the flow has turned the other ways as Iran works to replace weapons expended or destroyed in strikes on its production sites, man. So, hey, there you have it right there, man. All right. Russia is working in the background, and eventually, according to prophecy, all right, Russia is going to, step in and fight against America, all right? It was held off, back then during the Cold War, but hey, it's destiny, all right, for Russia and China to I said Russia and China, well, yeah, or China too, but Russia and America to go to war against each other. All right. Let me see. Let's read Isaiah 13 too. It says Isaiah 13:16. The children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes, their houses shall be spoiled, their wives ravished. Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver. As for gold, they shall not delight in it. All right. Their bows shall dash the young men to pieces. They shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. Yeah, because this is something that's been building up, man. These countries hate this place. And Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency, shall be as when Yahweh overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. All right. It shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelled in for generation to generation. Neither shall Arabian pitch tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there, man. So America is going to be totally annihilated, man. All right, with these weapons that I'm talking about. Guess what? They're going to get Iran missiles too, man. You know? So with that, I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai by Shimmer Kakadash. Double honor to the elders of GMS. Also salutations to all the Akim out there that's wishing this truth. And also shalom to the rest of the hopeful elect. Peace.